Alright, hello everybody, Dan7Combs here. Today I'm gonna show you guys I'm gonna update you. This is an updated video with showing how to do an electric on keyboard. I'm gonna show you both the electrics, the normal electric version, and also how to do the PGF version, the perfect electric as well. So let's get started. So first, as always, I'm gonna show my binds to get started. This is what I've used in Tekken 7. It works for me, so that's why I want to keep the same. Uh, I use the same binds. Alright, so this is my binds for keyboard one settings. Pause the video, take a picture, whatever, and right. And this is what my binds look like. So first, let me explain before I show. In order to do an electric on keyboard to make your life easier, it's better off to use two buttons for your movement keys. So if you see check input, I have my D-pad because it when you're on keyboard it takes the Xbox map settings, right? The Xbox layout. So you can see in the movement, I have I'm pressing forward with D and pressing another forward with H. You see, I'm pressing two forward inputs. That's how you do an electric. It's easier when you have two movement keys bind. So it's important that you set your settings if you wanna uh, play on keyboard to have two uh, bind set. Okay, so two inputs, two for inputs, and if you want to go on the right side, it's the same thing. You just make sure you have two separate individual set. You can either do it on this or you can do it on keyboard too. It doesn't matter. See, on when I go the other way around, I use N, right? I'm gonna show you, but this is how I have it set for keyboard too, right? So let's get started with how to do the electric. Before I show it to you, I think this is not I don't think this is the most important thing and you should take from this video in order to do an electric on keyboard to make your life easier is you gotta make sure that your controller setup is set for character movements. It has to be set to both the D-pad and the left analog stick. You have to make sure this is bind. If you don't, so what happens is if you only set this, you can't use the left analog stick, the Xbox layout analog stick. You won't be able to use two binds for forward or back or whatever, or up, down, right? You'll only be able to use one. But if you have it set to this, this allows you for this allows you to be able to use two forward inputs. So it makes it run. For me, I don't know about you guys. For me personally, doing running moves are easier when I have two forward inputs than or two back uh, forward inputs on P2 side than just having one. So make sure this is bind to set this to character movements D-pad and left analog stick. Confirm and exit, and let's get started. I'm gonna show off Rhino because I think everybody wants to see the new Mishima character. So pick I'm gonna pick Rhino and show you how to do an electric. So I'm gonna make this video as fast as possible. Don't worry.
Reina.
さーてと
Uh,
Ling Xiao Yu.
よし
Get ready for the next battle.
all right. So okay, electric. Now everybody knows the input for electric is forward. Let me show electric input keyboard. Electric. All right, electric. Everybody knows in order to do an electric, you need to do forward neutral and then down forward. So it goes like this, right? That's what the input looks like. And then you do that. That's the wind guard fist, and if you want the electric version, you have to press them with the same frame. So how do you do this, right? You're wondering, you're looking at my keyboard and you know how I'm doing this, right? So in order to do this, you need to do something called a crouch dash after you input forward, right? You see how Rhino is going forward, right? You have to do that. If you don't do this, the forward neutral, which literally means you tap forward and then you do the crouch dash, right? Rhino is not going to get the electric. You're just going to get down forward two, right? You're not going to get your electric. You're just going to get down forward two. But if you input the neutral and you do the crouch dash input, right? Right? Yeah, you can get your the electric, not the electric, but this is called the wind guard fist, right? All right. So let's get started with how to do it. So in order to do an electric, first you need to understand how to do just frame methods on keyboard, yeah, right? And I made a video long ago about Lee Shalon. I'm going to link it in the description below. Please check that out. When you if you press a directional key with the same hand, right? It depends on the hand you use it. So if you're doing it with the left and you bind, suppose I wanted to do left punch, right, with my left hand. So my bindings are WSD. My movement keys for W is up, back, S is down, D is forward. I use the default binds, and then my tax buttons for keyboard. If anyone plays on keyboard, by default it's U, I, J, H. That's the buttons. So how do you do just from inputs, right? I want you to look at the command history very clearly. So this is what happens if I do a forward plus it. So this is what happens if I do a down forward two. All right. That's what it looks like, right? A down forward two, right? Her this launcher, the normal launcher. But did you know you can actually do this by a just frame method as well? You don't have to do the entire thing. You can just do a just frame method. Now watch the command history. Did you see that command history? I only got a down forward, a down, and a forward. So that makes it a down forward and a two. Exactly at the same frame. Because what I did was I have 9 and 0, right? Set down, 9 is down, and 0 is forward. And what I did is I did a PGF. Uh, I did a PGF and I pressed 2, my right punch, because you have to press right punch, right? If you want the electric. So I did forward neutral, let me reset, forward neutral, and that's what a regular down forward 2 looks like. You see how there's so many other inputs there, there's so many it. But if you just do the down forward with 9 as 9 has down, 0 has right, right? When I'm on P1 side, P1, right? P1, right? And 2. And you press them all at the same time. So index, right hand index on my attack on 2, my right punch, middle finger on 9, and 0 on uh index finger, right? Right? And you press them all at the same time, you get this input. You see? Do you see the command history? Right? And when you combine the neutral input, right? You get this. So you get an electric, right? You saw that how the electric? No, right? That's a PGF. That's a perfect electric wind guard fist, right? That's the term they use. I mean, people think PGF is, you have to get Kazuya's down. Yes, you can do that, but I'll show you guys how to do that in another video. It's possible to do. It's not that hard. But I'm gonna show how to do an electric right now. Personally, I think when you're at close range and you want to push your opponent back, I think you should rely on perfect electric than doing a normal electric. Because when you do a normal electric, you have to press 3 buttons at the same time, and it's kind of, I mean, it's not that hard, but so I just taught you how to do PGF. It's literally forward, and as long as you have your directional keys and you press your 2 with your right hand, right? See, right hand, Right hand. I'm not even putting my left hand on my keyboard. Right hand, right hand. You're pressing them all at the same time. Directional keys and your attack. You can even do the other keys. You can do. Uh, Let me see. What are the other? This is electric. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna waste time. Okay, so you can also do. You combine this. The same concept, right? You can do. So if this is electric, with me pressing my directions and pressing I, which is two, I2, right? You're pressing at the same time. Or you can also do this with you press U instead of I. You can press Win Codfish, right? And you can do a sweep. See? Right? So how do I, right? It's the same concept applies. As long as you're pressing your attack buttons at this, no, as long as you press your attack button and the input, the directional input at the same time, right? That's why you need to bind your keys in order for it either access. It's like playing Fortnite in a way where your buttons are close to you, right? So all I'm doing is just pressing buttons and I'm getting the electric out. I'm not doing anything. See, I'm pressing nine, I, nine, and zero. That was the master input. See, I nine zero, I nine zero, I plus nine plus zero. Press them all at the same time with your right hand. See, right? And then when you combine, when you do the forward neutral and then do it, you get an electric. And then you can combine that with your other attack buttons, right? Right? Then you can combine electric wind hook, the kick she gets, the electric version, right? For example, I don't know what's guaranteed. Right? Right? That's guaranteed, by the way. Right? The same thing applies. So that's how you do PEGF. Personally, I think PEGF input is easier than to do a regular input. So let's type electric input. Now, for an electric input, it's literally what I'm doing is you have to do a crouch dash. If you don't do this crouch dash, you're not going to get it. So how am I doing this? To do an electric, you need to make sure that you press after, not before. Right? It's not crouch dash and then forward. It's forward crouch dash and then this. So forward that, right? So that's easy to do. So how am I doing the crouch dash? You're wondering. I'm pressing D down. S down and H, and I'm pressing both of them at the same time. So middle finger on my left middle finger on S and my right in. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with my right index finger, which is this index finger on H, right? And I'm going like this, right? You see that? Right? How I'm doing crouch dash, right? And all I'm doing is when I'm doing the crouch dash after the forward neutral, I'm just pressing an attack button with H on with my right hand. So I'm doing H and using my middle finger on either U, I, J, or K. So if I want to do an electric, I'll do a crouch dash and I would press with my middle finger, I would press 2. I would just press my right hand. Let me show that to you again. Saw that? See? That's how you get electric. It's that easy to do an electrical keyboard. So literally all I'm doing is forward. You can even do the dash electric. Right? You can do a dash. Right? All I'm doing is doing a dash, pressing 3 buttons at the same time. So left middle finger, left middle finger. Remember the words I'm using. Left middle finger on D, H on left, right index finger, right, my right finger. I'm right-handed, by the way, so but that doesn't really matter. I mean, it's however you set the buttons. All you need to remember is when you want to do just frame inputs, you need to press the your directional button, and it's easier to press your directional button and your uh attack button, whatever attack, left, right, left kick, right kick, at the same time. So this is what a normal. I did this with Lee Shalom back low. That was my first guide I ever made for to show back to loops. But the same thing applies for other characters. If you wanted to just stream inputs, you gotta do it like this. It's easier to do it. Like this is a regular input, a regular, a regular uh down like I've shown you the PGF input, right? A regular down forward, a regular down forward two, right? You see, there's a down forward two input before the launcher, the down forward two, right? And this is a just frame method where I just press all the same buttons, the keys with one hand, not with two hands, just with one. You saw the input right there? The difference? That's how you do it in electric. So it's literally you do you do your forward neutral, your forward input. I press D and then I press down H and I at the same time. So like that, right? Down, down S, H, H forward, and I too, right? And you just do it like that. That's as simple as you get. And if you want to change the input, you can always, bind your button. Sometimes the J doesn't work for me, so I bind my. If you want to get electric wind hook kick, which is electric war god kick. If you want to get this input, all you have to do is just make sure that if this is not working, for me it's not working. It might work for you on your keyboard if you switch to keyboard and want to play on keyboard. But for me, it's not working. I'm not able to press J. So what I did is I pressed V. So I literally just press forward, down S, H, crouch dash. And when you're doing the crouch dash, make sure you're pressing it with it. See? Press it with it. If you try to do a crouch dash, it won't work, right? Because you're going to crouching status and then you're trying to get the kick out. So you need to make sure you're pressing them all, doing it simultaneously, all at the same time. Like that. Electric, right? Right, hell sweep, right? And that's basically it from P1 side. Now let's go to P2 side, again, to show you. You literally just do a dash, do dash, alright, dash, crouch dash, D, D with, I'm gonna keep telling you the same thing. Left middle finger on S, down, and right index finger on H, and you just do crouch dash. And then when you do a crouch dash, like you just press with your right middle finger, right? You just press the button, whatever attack you want to get, right? You either do electric, right, or you do war god king. And if it doesn't work with J, with my binds, just use one of your binds. You can set it to as many binds you want, right? You don't have to use my binds. If you want, you can use my binds, right? Because it took me a while to figure all this out, but it's easier. I'm just recommending that you use my binds if you want to really, really play this character or play Mishima characters. It's easier to play Mishima characters on keyboard personally, you know? And that's basically it. So let's go to P2 side. Switch sides. Now P2 side. Now the same concept applies. Forward, down, and this time we have to reverse the input. We can't go back. We gotta go forward, right? So because if you try to go back, you're gonna just crouch, right? Because when you do down and back, in this game, it tell you by default they tell you that that's the crouching button. That's how they recommend that you crouch in this game, right? But we want to go forward. We don't want to go back, right? So we can't rely on H. I use N to go forward here. N. So we need same thing. This time we're going this way, right? We're not going back. We're not going D. We're going A. You gotta go forward this way, P2 side. Right? So you literally just do neutral, down, crouch dash, and attack button. So left middle finger on S, right index finger, right index finger on N, right, and then attack button. So after you do the neutral input, you can see Rhino move like this, right, and then electric. Now you can either use your left ring finger. I use the same finger I use to do my electrics on my same finger that I do electrics on P2 side or P1 side. I'm sorry, right? So I just use if I'm using my left index finger for D, right? I just use F. I use F to go forward, right? And then I just press F, electric, right? Right. So I'm just pressing N and attack button. Forward with N and attack, right punch at the same time together. See the input? See the just frame input? This is a regular forward plus 2, a forward plus right punch input. And this is a just frame forward plus right punch input. You see the difference? So all I'm doing is I'm pressing this, right? I'm pressing that. That's what the input looks like. If you don't put the forward neutral, and if you add the forward neutral input, it looks like that. That's how you do electrics, and that's basically it. I mean, there's two variations. Only Rhino and Kazuya have access to the PGF, which is that where they can do it from crouching their electrics. Whereas other Mishimas they have to crouch cancel it. I mean, Jin and Devil Jin they have to crouch cancel, right? And that's basically it. You know how you do electrics. I mean, I can show some combos off if you want to see proof that I'm not bluffing. I'm showing you the truth. Right? And a little bit advanced combo there. Right? I mean, yeah, that's what basically it. You just go forward, forward, whatever button you're using for forward, and you make sure you need to do a crouch dash. And while you're doing a crouch dash, press your attack button. Right? You don't have to wait for it to go into a complete crouch dash and then hold it. You just press. It's like pressing chords on a piano, but instead of pressing three buttons at the same time, you just do left, down, and you press H and I. H, I at the same time, simultaneously, both at the same time. See? And then and this is what happens when we do left, you get that, right? Left hand, left middle finger, and then right, and then attack button. So when you add the neutral, right, you press them all at the same time. See? When you're at close range, I recommend you do PGF because I don't know why, for some reason, it's faster input. It feels easier on the hands and it comes out faster. But don't whiff an electric because you get punished, right? You whiff punishment, it's called. But so just practice, keep practicing doing this in the practice mode. If you have any questions or comments, please put it in the comment section. I'll answer. But that's how you do electric. It's not hard to do an electric anymore. Right now The electric is at our fingertips to do an electric. It's easier. You can tell the difference in the command history, right? Look at the difference. DTF, regular trigger. Right? Right side, right? Right? As long as you make sure you bind. On the right side, I just use 7 because for some reason it's hard for me to come all the way and do this. Right? So I just use 7 for right punch. And I just press F. I just press F and 7 forward because I have to go that way, right? 8 is my forward on P2 side and 9 down. So I just press that. And when you come by the forward neutral, right? And that's basically it. I mean, if you want to combine, and the same thing applies if you want to do the electric war god kick for the launcher for the counter launcher, right? Not messed up. Right? All I did was did N forward and I pressed V. So I pressed forward neutral down A. If you're using, I recommend you use WASD because when you by more in most games, WASD is the movement keys, right? And also, if you're playing any FPS shows by default, WASD is the movement keys. So just use WASD. It's easier for you to make your life easier, unless you want to change. But just use. All I did was just make sure I bind a button. I mean, you can do it regular, but for some reason it's not working on my keyboard, so I just bind a button to another left kick, right? Left kick. I just bind it to V. So I have two left kick buttons set. I have J and I have V. And I press V when I do my electric war kick. So literally forward neutral, three buttons at the same time. Saw that? Right? And that's basically it. That's me showing not only the electric, but also showing you how to do both the electric and the electric with guard fist and the electric with war kick. Right? Both of them I showed in this video. And also you don't it's not hard, but the same concept applies if you want to do a just stream electric war kick, right? Just make sure you press with your right hand, with one hand. Basically, if you press, I don't know why this happens, but it seems like when maybe it applies to other games as well, but when you play Tekken and you press two buttons, two or two or more buttons with the same hand, right? It gives you just frame inputs, which is kind of crazy because I can prove it to you, right? See, if I press, if I just a little side note to finish the video. If I press N and I, right, I get so this is a regular forward with the attack button, right? That look at that input, and this is a just frame version of the attack. You saw one frame, single, just at the same time, right? And also, this is a regular down forward to input. A regular, if you just, don't press them at the same time, you just use a directional keys with one hand and another key with another hand, right? This is a regular down forward too, right? See that weird ass input there, and this is a just frame down forward to input. Messed up. You see that input on the same frame exactly. There's no other inputs coming. So that's the advantage of playing on keyboard. Yes, it's macros, but I mean, I already made a video discussing and telling people that the future of fighting games is going to be keyboard. Not future, but keyboard is another way you can play fighting games on. You don't really need to buy commit to buying a controller, a really expensive controller or an arcade stick, and unless you really want to. But it took me 5 years to figure out that you can do all this on keyboard, and I wanted to share. So I wanted to share. So thank you. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.